right, guys, I wanted to give you a full update on my 240-gallon aquarium. As you know, we had a baby recently. Fish room's paying the price. Now, we do have the new Scootin' Fruity Puffers. We do have 3 of those in here now, and I have to say, they're doing fantastically. But one of the big problems I got going on with this tank is just algae maintenance at this point. You know, hair algae kind of started to take over and got a grip while we had the newborn, and she's still newborn. I mean, just like 5.5 weeks or something like that. But we definitely got behind on maintenance and stuff like that, and things kind of steamrolled from there, which, you know, this kind of stuff happens, and I want to kind of show you guys how we're working our way through it. Which, the first things first, got to go through and make sure all the filter pads are changed. As you guys have been following, you probably know that most of the sumps, I just use this. It's made by PuroClean. It's just kind of a, you know, 2-part filter, and it comes in big rolls, and I cut it to the size that I want, and then I'm able to, you know, insert it into the sump just to get particulate filtration on a regular basis. I can just, all the particles of whatever's floating around in the water column, this can polish it right out of there. Now, a lot of the other filtration that I use the ceramic bio rings along with, you know, some other miscellaneous biological filtrations that are in there. But this is the mainstay of what I use. I just find it to be the most economical. This one happens to be Aquaneat. I don't know. The ceramic bio rings just seem to be the best. So we're probably gonna have to shake those out a little bit just because they do have a tendency to get a little bit gunked up. Most biomedia does, almost all of them do. And that's just the particulate kind of landing on there. Now, once we get that all done, then it's time to do a water change. I normally do all that stuff before I do a water change. Reason for that, it's gonna economize what the water change is actually doing. You know, it's actually gonna make the water change more effective, you know? So you don't want to change the water and then kick a bunch of debris up into the tank. I like to kick the debris up into the tank and then do a water change. So that stuff, water change is all pretty self-explanatory. This is a 240-gallon aquarium with about 60 gallons of water in the sump. So it's about 300 gallons. So when I do a water change on this system right here, this system being a little bit different, I do about 1/3 of a water change. So I will rotate about 100 gallons of water. I'm here in Western Washington. My water is like really soft, really clean. There's not a lot of stuff in it. There's a little bit of iron and things like that. So then I have to start supplementing a little additional fertilizers. The mainstay of fertilizer I'm using now is, you know, I don't use the EI method anymore. I don't use PPS or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just using Easy Green from the Aquarium Co-op, mainly because it's just in the name. It's easy. It's super easy for me to get the fertilizers going here. That's how the hair algae ended up taking over. It's like I basically didn't do any fertilizers for about 3 to 4 weeks, so about a month, something like that, you know, because the couple weeks leading up to the baby were super hectic with all that stuff going on. And the couple weeks right after the baby was just like, I just don't have time. I basically had time to come out here and feed the fish and, you know, just check on things. And for whatever reason, I just wasn't even thinking about doing very much fertilizing. And ultimately, the plants started to grow a little bit crazy. You guys can see the stargrass over here is just super tall at this point. So that's pretty self-explanatory, like a water change, you know, cleaning the filters, what filtration I use, that kind of stuff. But let's just talk about what I'm gonna do, because it's getting to a point now where I just have to keep trimming, keep adding in fertilizers, keep doing my water changes, and the plants will catch up. Like I said, this stargrass right here, you can see how crazy it's grown up. It was about this low, and now it's basically growing up super tall. Everything in here is starting to become supercharged. So the plants are gonna take off and beat out the algae. So I've been down this road numerous times before. I'm basically right in the middle of recovering right now, which is the point that is the most stressful. This is the most stressful point that you could be at, is when everything is algae covered and the plants are just growing chaotically. It's like I have the double whammy of really wondering like, oh crap, what's going on? You know, but you know, like I said, I've been down this road a few times before, so I just have to stay the course and keep going here, and the plants will overtake. And you know, one of the things that you can tell is like on this Rotala macandra right here, you can actually see how down here it's sort of had some deficient growth, and then up at the top, boom, it started growing red again because it's getting enough nutrients, it's getting enough fertilizer, it's you know, it's getting enough so that it is photosynthesizing and turning red again, which means we're on the right track. Well, like I said, right now it just kind of looks like a disaster zone. It looks super chaotic, but the Ludwigia back here is completely grown out. It's growing all sorts of nuts. We're gonna end up having to trim that back in about 2 weeks just to get it all back down, take all the cuttings and stuff like that. I'll get those out to some local people out here that need some extra plants or want them or whatever. But like I said, I'm just gonna have to stay the course and keep trimming and keep fertilizing, doing my water changes, and the plants will catch up. I mean, it's really what the plants want to do. So if I'm allowing them to have the environment for them to grow, that's just pretty much how it's gonna go. They're gonna do well. So let's get to some of the trimming, and let's get to some of the moving stuff around a little bit. I'm not gonna shoot the water change because it seems kind of silly to do that at this point, right? All right, so like I was saying, you know, you can see how you can see how I am getting some algae on some things. There is algae on the glass, so as I cruise along here, you'll probably notice that there's algae on the glass. There's the Ludwigia back there, which certainly needs some attention. But like I said, I'm gonna let this grow all the way up to the top. Not like all the way up to the top, but I'm gonna allow it to grow for probably another week, week and a half. Ooh, there's one of the puffers. Hiding out in the back. Hiding out in the back, searching, looking for food. But everything in here is actually growing well again. You know, it kind of had that point where things sort of dropped off and it wasn't exactly doing what I wanted it to do. But that's not a big issue. Things are starting to recover now. Things are starting to, you know, you can see the pearl weed back here is really started to jump up and starting to grow. And then the macandra back here is just really doing what it's supposed to be doing. And this stargrass over here is really recovering, that's for sure. So you can see a big chunk that I pulled out earlier down there. That's looking, you know, it's really, you know, like I said, this is just really kind of a long process of getting it back into shape after, you know, just kind of neglecting it for realistically about a month. That's just kind of what it boils down to. And that's, a lot of that has to do with, you know, just the baby. I mean, I was just having a baby and all that stuff and everything that was needed to be done. So, and but the shrimps are doing really well. The puffers are doing well. A lot of the rummy nose are doing well. Some of them, you know, maybe not doing that great, but it's just kind of a reality of living with puffers and stuff like that. But as you can see here, let me see if I can't get close enough. We've got baby bristlenose all over the place that really are just everywhere. I mean, they're up, there's one up here. You know, they're just all over the place once you actually kind of have the ability to get up close and find them in there. There's so many of them in this tank at this point. So, and the apistos have been breeding, but I just haven't seen any of the little apistos in here. But, you know, we're recovering. We're just in recovery mode. You know, that Pentatophyta right there that I planted was doing great, and then it just got overshadowed by the Pogostemon up here, and it just kind of started to go dormant for a little while. So I'm having to continually trim back this Pogostemon back here and keep it into shape. Otherwise, it starts shading out everything that's growing underneath it. Like you can see this gap back here in the pearlweed right here. You can see that gap back there. That's actually where the Pogostemon was growing, and it was just pretty much blocking all of the light on here, you know. So things are coming along to a degree. We're kind of back to a point where I'm not ashamed to even like, you know, shoot a video about it, but you can see green spot algae on the glass, stuff like that. Like that's all just because I haven't really been cleaning the glass all that much and stuff like that. So, you know, but it's coming along. Here goes another puffer, just snuck off into the bushes in there. I think people forget how big this tank is sometimes because they see me up close working on it. Because I'll normally shoot with the camera like right here, something like that, and people just be like, oh yeah, he's just working in the tank. But if you get out here and pan the whole length of the tank, it is pretty sizable, realistically, when you get down to it. But that's what's going on with the recovery here, and things are going pretty well, so can't really complain too much. And but thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna give a big shout out to everybody for tuning in, you know. Oh, hold on, I gotta get my A camera on. Some people wonder, how many cameras do I have in here? I've got two cameras in here, guys. I've got two cameras, one filming me while I'm filming you, right? Is that how this works? Is that how we're supposed to do this, right? Well, thanks for tuning in. That's what's going on with the 240, just to give you guys kind of an update and let you know what's going on. Later. Say bye-bye.
Looks real.